to Expanding Your Search with Brent and Jody Bailey. We are growing our circles of connection and knowledge with encouraging conversations and positive communications. Today, Brent and Jody welcome.
He plays businessman and Bible study leader Joe Anderson on the faith-based crime drama Vindication. On Vindication Wednesday, it's Cameron Arnett.
And now, here are your hosts, Brent and Jody Bailey.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Expanding Your Search. It's Brent Bailey. I hope you're having a great day. It's Vindication Wednesday. And no, I'm not going through puberty. I'm having a little voice issue today. My voice is a little bit hoarse, if you will. It's that, that time of year. It just happens. I want to welcome everybody to the show. If you're a fan of Vindication, it's a great, great show. We are so excited to have Cameron Arnett with us today. It's going to be we got a lot to talk about, a whole lot to talk about. So before we get to that, though, let's jump over to the control room and welcome Jody over.
Let's do this.
Hey, everyone.
Man, I'm sorry if I sound like...
I know.
I sound like Peter on the Brady Bunch when his voice was singing. When it's time to change, you got to rearrange. Yeah, that's the way I feel right now. And you never know when it's going to go. It's like I'll be talking really good and all of a sudden it'll crack and it's just...
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have that? Do you folks out there have that? Do you have that issue? I usually had it about this time of year forever. I mean, my whole life. I don't remember any fall where I didn't have some kind of...
I usually have it as well. I do too.
Do you remember the one year we went to the California Increase event, which is happening this week?
Yes, it is.
Or next week.
Tomorrow.
Excuse me, next week.
Oh, no.
No,
yeah,
it's next week.
Next week.
And so I remember going one year. It was either there or the Florida event. The Florida event used to be in the fall, so it might have been the Florida event. And I'm the MC at these events. And as I walk out there, I'm like talking like this. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the... Yeah.
And it's weird because everyone really knows you for your voice.
Yeah, and so the great thing about that was the year that I became a believer in...
Thank you, Jesus.
Yes, thank you, Lord. I became a believer that year in essential oils. Some lady walked up to me and she goes, I'm going to fix you. By the end of today, you'll be talking. And I was like, whatever.
Nah, whatever.
Go hug a tree, hippie. She gave me some peppermint oil, and I'm not joking. By the end of the day, I wasn't at full strength, but I didn't sound like Froggy from the Little Rascals. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was. It really did. It did something for you.
I believe in the peppermint oil.
Yeah, and
I don't believe in the grass and all the
well.
other stuff, the grass
Hey,
oil or not.
We should make one of these days should be Essential Oil Day.
And we have the perfect friend that could come on and talk about that.
We sure do.
Anyway, all right. We're not here to sell essential oils
we're
and
not.
incense, and all of us wear hemp clothes and stuff. So, anyway, listen, Cameron Arnett is here today. If you don't know who that is, he has made a huge impact in the Christian film industry, faith-based film industry.
Yes.
He has been an Overcomer. He was a regular on Miami Vice. He was on Star Trek: The Next Generation. Doogie Howser.
Doogie Howser.
We could just keep naming. He has been in the industry for a long time, and now he's Joe. Bible study. Joe Anderson, the Bible study leader that Detective Travis goes to.
Yeah.
And last week's episode. If you're not watching the show, you need to be watching the show.
It stunned us.
When the ending was such a twist. So he has a lot to answer for today.
Yes, he sure does. Oh,
and we're going to push him about it as much as we can. So
we really are.
All right. So before we get to that, though, what's going on around the world?
Well, something we know something about is today is Support Your Local Chamber of Commerce Day.
Oh, yes. Chamber of Commerce is a great organization. It's all the folks in a little city or area. They kind of all come together and pool their resources and talk about planning, and then they talk about ways to make their businesses successful.
Exactly.
And, they sponsor a lot of things. They do things in the community and makes a big impact. And so
it really does.
We joined the Dr. Phillips Chamber of Commerce almost immediately upon starting our church here in Orlando. And we've been a believer in it from the very beginning.
And they're such great people.
They really are.
I mean, really, they are all about strengthening the community.
Yep.
And so today's a day that we honor them. And so what they, what we're asking, or what the day is asking, is to support those local businesses that are in the Chamber of Commerce in your local area. Whatever services they offer.
Well, listen, we are all about supporting local businesses anyway, because
Yes.
I think, and this is what I said to them whenever I would speak there, is that businesses actually do more to build a community. Now, some people are going to hate me for this.
I know they are.
But even more than a church.
Right.
Or I mean, don't get me wrong, a church is they do so
Yes.
much for the community because of
Yes.
the power of God and the Word of God and the truth of,
Yes.
of God's Word. But the practical side, that's probably what I should say, the practical side of impacting the community, think about what businesses do. They employ people, they sponsor events, they offer goods and services.
Yeah.
It's essential. I mean,
It is.
if you want to see a failed community, show me a place that doesn't have any business in it.
Right, exactly.
So we're all about local businesses, and thank you to the
Yes.
Chamber of Commerce's for keeping those things alive.
Alive, yes. The next one is something, again, we know a lot about, Youth Confidence Day.
Oh, man.
Yeah? Youth Confidence Day. So what today is...
Yeah, I was going to say, explain.
It is, it really is not just, hey, celebrate all the youth, that are confident, because most youth are not, they come across confident, but in reality, they
A
probably
lot of
are
self-doubt
not.
behind the scenes, yes.
So what we are to do, the adults, not even just the parents, but anybody that we come in contact with that we would consider a youth, is to really encourage and inspire them, but also celebrate their energy and their life and their ambition,
Yes.
the things that they want to do in their lives, and know that they've got so much potential and a great spirit. Encourage that in them, rather than, how many times we've been like, oh, this kid is just so hyper, or this kid is, doing this
So
or
low
that.
energy.
Yeah,
whatever.
So today is a day to really encourage those and inspire them to build up the confidence in their spirit.
I think the confidence level of both of our kids don't need any encouraging.
I mean, there are some things.
Now, wait a minute.
I
I'm not
know.
saying they don't need it encouraging into some
In
of the
certain
other
areas,
things. Yeah, like
right.
you need to go down something they've never done before.
Yeah.
But both of our kids, if they see something or see somebody else, they'll immediately come say, I can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever done that before? No, but I can.
I
think
I
I
can do it.
think
I
you can
know.
do it.
Preston does it all
That's
the
right.
time.
It's a very regular occurrence. So, but yeah, I agree. I mean, we did youth ministry for 25 years
Yep.
and saw a lot of kids suffer from just the absolute crushing lack of confidence.
Yes. Yes. So.
All right, next.
Yep. Medical Assistance Day, and I remember celebrating this last year. It's a day, when you go into a clinic, a medical clinic, you see the people behind the counter, and they're running around, or they're taking your name, or they're whatever it is. Listen, they're the ones that have to really deal with the public. Medical assistants, they assist physicians or other health professionals, but they are also medical professionals themselves. They have gone to school. They have done everything they need to do to be in the position that they are. Maybe they're still in school. Listen, celebrate them. Thank them for what they're doing. Today is their day. It is their day to do that. And so we thank those that we know in the medical profession that are medical assistants. Because without you, those physicians, I don't know what they do.
Yeah, they'd be in hard
It'd be
hot
really
water.
rough.
All right, let me give you some food news before we jump out of here today. I
Yeah.
think I know where we're going to go for dinner tonight.
Yeah?
Red Lobster is offering for a limited time the ultimate endless shrimp feast. That means as much as you can eat. They just keep bringing it out, and it's for a limited time, but they're going to have it. Usually it's only one day a week.
Yeah.
But now it's every day for a limited time. So that's big time. Papa John's has introduced a new Bacon Mania lineup of food. Pizza, the little pepperoni rolls, or a calzone, and they have literally full strips of bacon, not the shredded stuff.
Oh, okay.
So
All
bacon
right.
lovers, if you like bacon on your pizza, and if you do, comment in the sections below. You can actually get a full strips of bacon in one of these 3 selections at Papa
Yeah.
John's. All right.
Yeah.
I don't understand, again, the crossovers, mashup stuff is just, it's almost daily now. We're getting some crazy thing.
It is.
I love popcorn.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about store-bought, just, we have 2 popcorn machines.
We do.
Like the kind you put in it pops, and like at the movie theater popcorn.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I've never tried it. Maybe I should. There's a lot of people that go to the movies and they put Milk Duds or M&Ms or something in their popcorn.
Yes.
Why it's hot,
Yeah.
so it kind of melts in.
Melts a little bit, yeah.
Evidently, they also do it with Skittles.
Skittles, yes.
And now Sour Patch and so there is a whole line of pop. The brand is Pop popcorn.
Uh-huh.
And you see that everywhere.
Yeah.
They have a Sour Patch Kids popcorn. It's infused into the popcorn.
Well, you know what? The funny thing is, sometimes I like it at the movies. I definitely like to have the popcorn, but sometimes I get in the mood for a Sour Patch.
I don't really care for Sour Patch.
And so I'm not.
I don't know. Sometimes I just think if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Now,
I mean, maybe I would like the Milk Duds in the popcorn. I might change my mind.
Yeah. Well,
I could even see the M&Ms.
Yeah. The M&Ms would be good. Well, let me say this because I just saw a video on a hack of popping popcorn and Skittles together so that it changes the color and the flavor of the popcorn. Well,
it melts it and then it pops into it.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
However, so watch the video of this happened, and then a kid went to do it. I say
work.
Kid. Yeah, it just melted the Skittles into kind of clumpiness, and so some of it got on the popcorn, but not the same way. So
I don't know.
That was a fail.
I don't know. I might like it. I might not. But anyway, that's what's going on around the country today. It's Vindication Wednesday, and we have Cameron Arnett here. So let's jump in and expand your search. My guest today is a Haitian-born award-winning actor, author, speaker, and director, Cameron Arnett. He carved out a successful career in arts and entertainment in the late 80s and 90s. He has appeared in such mainstream shows as Miami Vice. Come on, do you feel it in the air tonight? I think you do. Star Trek, The Next Generation, China Beach, and Doogie Howser. He's also been on VH1's Single Ladies and Tyler Perry's Meet the Browns. He's also been in such great films as I Still Believe, which was, I think, 17 Magazine's #1 romantic movie of the year. Overcomer, the Kendrick brothers' #1 family film for 2019, in which he has been pushed to win an Oscar for, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes as well. He's also been in Maddie, The Discovery, where he directed and made his debut in the directing chair. Karen Abercrombie's Discarded Things and The Challenger Disaster. We could keep naming films. Champion and Stand Your Ground, which won 5 Dove Awards. We have just loved his work so far on Vindication. He continues to gain momentum and influence in the industry. He just returned from shooting the film First Responders just this Sunday. He also plays the lead role in an upcoming feature, Running the Bases, and has appeared in the BET Plus original Redeemed. He's currently playing the men's group Bible study leader, Joe Anderson, on the hit faith-based crime drama Vindication. And he has a lot to answer for this week because the twist last week made Jody and I shout at the TV. So please welcome, we're so excited to have Cameron Arnett with us today. Cameron.
Oh, my God. Oh, man, I'll tell you what, like I said, you have to give, thumbs up, hats off to Jarod. He knows how to keep you on your toes, all the cliffhangers, all the twists and turns. I'm telling you, I am so grateful to be not only within this project, but amongst such a great cast and having great writing. You need a great script, you need a great writing, and you need something that you can sink your teeth into. And so Joe Anderson has proven to be such. And there's some things coming down the pike. I can't really talk about it too much.
I know, and I want to get to it real quick, but this is your first time on our show. Let's talk a little bit about you. Obviously you have a very distinguished career and so awesome. How did you get into acting? When did you start, and how did it come about?
Man, I was a pre-med, pre-law student in college and had actually just answered an ad for something fun to do for the summer for the first time. And I entered it about, at least 10 different competitions, won 8 out of 10 of them. And it just changed the trajectory of everything else that I've done since then. And it's taken me from Miami to New York, California to here to Atlanta. And in the midst of all that, the matriculation from, just doing the secular stuff to the Christian, to being a bona fide, on fire for Jesus Christ Christian, has changed everything. And I am extremely grateful that God kind of saved me to this point in time, because what he is doing now within the genre, if you would, of Christian film is mind blowing. And I am extremely blessed to be a part of it.
We was just reading the resume in your introduction there, and you appeared. I mean, Miami Vice was obviously a staple. Friday nights in the '80s. I know me and my cousins would plan our Friday nights around the Dukes of Hazzard, Knight Rider, and Miami Vice. I mean, that was every Friday night. What was it like working on a show like that?
Man, again, all of this stuff has been surreal to me. Because I'm not only an actor in the sense of being on the screen, but I'm a fan of the industry. I'm a fan of actors. I'm a fan of storytelling. And so to be on the set, Don Johnson, Philip Michael Thomas, and having all that stuff. Sherry Headley, who played my girlfriend, who ends up being the girl in Coming to America. And so all these things that were happening, and all these pivotal points in times, they were all surreal, and it is just an amazing thing for me to even think of what I'm doing now. It's just God moving and doing his thing. I got the opportunity to actually be the ensign on the Starship Enterprise. Come on, man.
That's awesome.
Come on, man.
Engage. Come on. That's awesome.
Engage. Make it so number one. So just to be able to get on that kind of a set and to be around those people and to be a part of a series that you've just watched and become a fan of for all these years, I can't really put it into words.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Playing when I was reading that, I did not realize the extensive background that you had in the secular industry as well. Have you been able to? I know that we really started to know you because of your work in the faith-based film industry, but
right.
Have you been able to kind of? I know that your light's always shining, but have you been able to bridge the gap for some people and really be a light in the community of acting?
Of the secular, not to this point, because since 2013, I would say, because I was pastoring for 20 years, all right, between, California, here in Atlanta, between California and the secular work, and here in Atlanta doing all the Christian stuff. 20 years in between went by, more or less, and pastoring 2 different churches, nothing but the word of God behind the pulpit. I loved it, love it still, and didn't think I was going to be doing anything other than that, and I was great with that. And so in 2013, God brought me back into filmmaking, into acting, and I people talk about answering the call to the ministry and pastoring, kicking and screaming, but actually I came back to this kicking and screaming because I really wanted no parts of it, because all I remembered, all I knew was the whole Hollywood thing, and I didn't want to do any of that at all ever again in my life. And so I haven't had the opportunity to bridge that gap. I believe that I will. I believe that God has called me to, but again, what I've put before God is to do it his way, because I no longer ever want to chase that. Don't want to be a part of that kind of a mainstream perspective, in the sense of having to it be part of your fiber as opposed to you governing and speaking to it. And so I'm extremely grateful the way that God is doing it. He has given me what he wants to give me, and I'm okay with that. I don't need anything other than that. And so I'm waiting for that point in time when that I cross that bridge once again to be a blessing to the secular side. And until that happens, I'll wait on God to do what he's doing.
Amen. That's so good. All right. So now I didn't know you were a pastor for 20 years. That's incredible. That's what we do in our spare time as well. We pastor in Orlando. Yeah, right. Talk a little bit about right now there's a push. I saw it, and I spoke to your wife last night about this. There's a campaign that's been launched through social media to get you an Oscar nomination for your work in Overcomer.
Well, it's not really. it's not really a campaign. I think what has happened is that so many people that saw Overcomer commented on my performance. One of the best, I guess, compliments that I got was from a lady who came out of the theater watching the film during one of the premieres and watching the film, and she worked with blind people. That's what she does. And she came out and she said to me, my God, when I was watching the film, I thought to myself, my God, the Kendrick brothers are so awesome. They found a blind man to play this role and they gave it to a blind man. How awesome for them to, and then she says, I meet you and then you're not blind. And she said, you convinced me, and I work with the blind. Wow. And so that for me was the greatest compliment that I can have, to cause someone to so suspend their reality of what they know and to see and to experience what you were trying to convey. And I think so many people saw that performance and said, well, you know what, if there's any kind of rightness at all within Hollywood, then this man ought to be, nominated for an Oscar just like anybody else. And so it kind of like snowballed. And so now that, it's gone from the theater to the DVDs to now to television, it's kind of picking up steam all over again, and people are getting behind it. And I'm extremely grateful, and I'm humbled and honored by it. And I just thank God for the opportunity to be able to have that kind of a role, to make that kind of an impact.
Absolutely. Now, when we were speaking to your wife, she told us to ask you about your Christ over career.
Okay.
And I'm assuming that means that you really choose to have Christ in, he's the lead as opposed to your career is.
Yeah, well, what happened was that when I was in California, when I was in Hollywood, I had been doing a movie of the week in Toronto, Canada. And my manager called me and said, hey, they want to see you for this role, this television series. And so I come from Toronto, go back to home to LA, and they brought me in. I auditioned and everything else. And the producer said, hey, you're the one that I want. Put me in pairing for the chemistry with somebody else that was going to play my love interest. And so they signed me up. I was about to do my first television series, Name and Lights, big money, Cameron Arnett, the whole shebang. And then so I'm at my manager's house, and they're going to send this the contract over. But in a conversation with my agent tells my manager, oh, by the way, they're going to need Cameron to do partial body nudity, because it was a kind around the time where television was trying to keep up with cable, because cable was pushing the envelope. That was a big term, right? And so TV was trying to do the same. And so they wanted me to do partial body nudity. And I was like, hey, I can't do that because I'm a Christian and blah, 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 blah. And my manager said, I know that. So we called the agent back and said, no, Cameron can't do it. And they said, well, wait a minute, let's go ahead and talk to the producers. And they talked to the producers. The producers said, you know what? He doesn't have to do it. We'll give him a body double. He'll do the acting, and the body double will do the nudity. And I'm like, fantastic. We're dancing the jig. Everything's great. And then I feel the Spirit of the Lord tap me on the shoulder and say, you have to shun even the appearance of evil.
Come on.
Because people will think that it's you. And at that moment in time, I had to choose Christ over my career. And what has happened since then, and coming back and speaking and giving my testimony to other people and to Christians, I realized and I found out that a lot of Christians would have not made the same decision, the same choice. And so it became a campaign to tell the saints that they do not have to sell their souls for this. It is right to choose Christ over your career. And it is God's idea that you have a career. He gave you 6 days to work. So he wants you to accomplish and to achieve great, phenomenal things. But he wants him to do it through you. He wants to be Christ over your career. It's not Christ or career, it's Christ over career. And he wants to be at the helm of your decision-making, of your character, of everything in your life, so that he can be the one that causes you to walk in the good works which he preordained, not you choosing to do something because of money, because of accolades, because of achievement. And that's what the campaign is about. And so right now we have 3 ambassadors that are ambassadors for Christ over Korea here in Atlanta. We have Jonathan Nicholas. We have Ben Valdez, who is a pastor out of Cleveland. I'm sorry, Houston. I'm sorry, forgive me. It's Cleveland, Cleveland, Houston, something like that. And then we have a brother by the name of Rich Swingle, which is in New York. And so we are actually actively searching out brand ambassadors of Christ over Korea around the nation, in all the cities, to proclaim the message to the saints. I don't care whether it's acting, I don't care whether it's business, or I don't care whether you're a truck driver. The bottom line is that Christ has to be the one who is the mindset. And that's why you see all these hats behind me, because it's many hats, one mind. We do many things, but only one mind is supposed to govern it, and that's the mind of Christ. And so that is the perspective of Christ over Korea. And we're praying and getting into churches, getting into festivals, getting everywhere that we can go and speak and proclaim that message. Keep Christ at the helm of your life.
That's so awesome. I want to ask you one more thing, and then we're going to jump into the vindication stuff. You were on the January 2020 cover of Brother Copeland's magazine, The Believer's Voice of Victory. Yeah. I know a lot of folks that work down there, lots of good friends of mine at Brother Copeland's place. How'd that come about?
Well, I was speaking at a festival, and one of the people that writes for them got hold of the message and what I was saying, and they got connected to me through one of our spiritual daughters, who's also a writer. And so they came and they heard me speak, and they interviewed me, they vetted me and that kind of thing, brought me over to the ministry. Yep. And took pictures here and out of Atlanta and put the story together. And to end up being, you have to understand my background. My spiritual father was Frederick K.C. Price. My spiritual uncle, if you would, is Kenneth Copeland. And so just to end up on that magazine cover is really God just saying to me, I see you, I'm with you, I'm for you, I've never left you nor forsaken you, and it's going to be all right. Because Believer's Voice of Victory, man. I mean, when we talk about, Oscars and Academy Awards and those kind of things, to be awarded on the Christian side, by the God who is the creator of your soul, and the men and women of God who have gone before you and made the way straight and been an example, you name it, to be in that place is far more than any other thing. When we talk about all these Oscars and stuff, I mean, you talk about surreal. That's crazy.
I come from a Word of Faith background too, and loved Dr. Price throughout the 80s, watched him all the time too. So I know when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, that's a big deal. So, all right, let's jump into vindication, because we've enjoyed everything we've seen you on there. Now the question that is kind of always left us kind of wondering is, are you a pastor or are you a men's group leader? Because that's never really been spelled out.
What happens is that actually Joe is a restaurateur. When you meet him, you meet him in a restaurant that he owns.
Yes. And
that they come to, and that, so he's really a CEO, a businessman, a restaurateur, that kind of thing. And yet his love for God, he leads a men's group that Travis has allowed him to do actually within his home. And so all of that is part of his character and his nature, but what he is as a business person is a restaurateur. So that's kind of the background. And so we find him, putting down the word, giving words of wisdom to the men, getting them to understand that Christ is everything, and how we are to not shy away from the controversial aspects of life, because Jesus, when you take a look at the word, he covered everything from racism to, women rights and all of those things. I mean, he covered all of it. And so as Christians, we shouldn't be people who shy away from, but we should, he says, occupy till I come.
Yes. We
should be actually heading into the mainstream, just like you talked about the whole secular bridging into the acting realm.
Yes.
That's why I know that's going to happen too, because we can't leave it behind. There are people, there are souls that Christ died for that we have to go back to, and we have to go ahead and grab. And so that's part of what Joe does. And so we kind of see, we're kind of getting now into his family life and the rest of what, comes to be, and we start to find out. And that's where we are now. And I think it's episode 8 that we start to see the aspects of what's happening a little bit on the other side of his background.
Yeah.
And episode 9.
Well, that's what we want to talk about now. I know you can't give it away because it drops tonight. But when we Jody and I both shouted at the TV. We couldn't believe it. And when you were sitting there, and obviously some other things have gone down because you're bleeding, and so there. And I think Tomlinson gives some kind of flimsy excuse. You tripped and fell or something. I don't know. But I have a feeling there's going to be more to this than just the surfacey aspect. Is that close, or?
There's going to be a whole lot more to it.
Okay.
And again, man, I have to continue to just give the props and the accolade to Jarod O'Flaherty, man. I mean, this guy is a genius, not only in the sense of the writing, the directing, the whole perspective, the courage to tackle things that the church needs to speak about and to hit head on. To be a part of a series that deals with a crime drama that you can see God, feel God, experience God, but yet not be a mamby-pamby kind of don't want to hit the issues. And so episode 9 brings a lot of answers.
Yeah.
A lot of things will be said there. And of course, everybody's already talking about, we need a season 3. And of course, we as the actors, because it's so enjoyable to us to be a part of, some of the things that we like, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? That we want to have season 3. We're chomping at the bits as well. So, just know as those of you who are watching it, man, we are just as enthused to see 3, 4, 5, and 6, seasons of this coming down the pike and watching what God does through the rest of the cast.
I love it. And I hope that after tonight's episode, we won't be so mad at you anymore. So
well, that remains to be seen. Maybe we're going to have to come back with a part 2 and I'll have to explain myself. I don't know.
Okay. Well, that invitation will remain open then. So I just have enjoyed talking to you so much. Thank you very much for your time. And we really are rooting for season 3. And anything you want to say before we let you go?
Well, my brother, I appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to do what you do for Christ. The bottom line is that every one of us are anointed by him, called by him to connect the dots so that all the rest of the world understands that he's in love with them and that he is coming soon and that he wants to take them all. It's not his desire that any should perish. And the church is not angry with man. God is not angry with man. We are in love with them. And so thank you for standing and being a light where the light needs to be shown to everyone.
We appreciate your time, folks. This is Cameron Arnett, and he plays Joe on the TV show Vindication. We're so grateful for his time. And now, if you would like to follow along with him on his journey, there it is, CameronArnett.com, VindicationSeries.com for the TV show. You can follow along on social media right there, Cameron Arnett Actor on Facebook and Cameron Arnett Actor on Instagram. You can catch Vindication on PureFlix and Amazon Prime. A brand new episode drops tonight where he will be answering a lot of questions as to why he's in the situation he's in. Have a great rest of your day. Give our loves to your wife, and we just thank you so much.
God bless, bro.
All right.
Thank you so much.
That's Cameron Arnett. Now let's stop for directions. Influence. Jesus actually said to us as believers, we actually have that kind of influence already. He said in his word, he used the phrase, you are the light of the world. He called you a city on a hill. And I wonder, as I was listening to Cameron talk about all the opportunities that he's had over the years, how many people have had the same opportunities but have never capitalized on them because they compromised their light by listening to the expert opinions of people in the world. Cameron has been offered tons of influential jobs and tons of influential positions, things that would have made any of us go, well, that's how you be successful. And as he was deciding and making a stand, he had to really look back and say, this is not what God's called me to do. He's called me to be a city on a hill, a light to the world. How many of you have been listening to opportunities come your way, and out of whether it's desperation or whether it's out of crisis or whether it's just out of curiosity, made a decision based on what the world's standards are instead of trusting in who God is? When Jesus said that you are the light of the world, he was saying your influence should be felt around the world. But in order to keep that influence the way it is, you have to seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and then all these things will be added unto you. Every decision in every direction that we have to go in, it presents itself a choice. The Bible says blessings and cursings, darkness and light. Which one are you going to choose? Are you going to choose what the world tells you is successful? Or are you going to choose the lordship of God over your life so that your influence can be stronger? Right now, as we speak, Cameron is enjoying a career that is very influential and carrying a peaceful influence into the rest of the world, something that he can live with and that people around him are affected by. That's the kind of influence Jesus called you to live. Are you walking in it? Or are you yielding to what the world tells you is better? I encourage you today, if you want to be influential in this life, walk the path that keeps your light shining the brightest. Because in this world, with it being so dark and so ugly and so bad, the world needs more light to show them the path that they should walk. And guess what, my friends? That path is you. That light is you. They need to walk and follow after somebody who can show them the way. Shine bright in the world that we live in, and let your influence affect everyone around you. That's going to wrap it up for the show today. My thanks to Cameron Arnett for coming and being with us today. I could have talked to him for another 3 hours. It was great to hear such stories, and we love him in Vindication. Don't forget, tonight drops a brand new episode where he's going to get to answer for what's going on with his character, and I can't wait to see what happens there. Thanks to Jody for another great show over there in the control room. Until next time, I hope we helped you find what you were looking for as you expanded your search. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks for joining us today. Connect with us on @ExpandingYourSearch on Facebook and Instagram, and @ExpandingSearch on Twitter. Relive any of our episodes on YouTube. We're available wherever podcasts are found, including Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. You can also download the Direction Ministries app on iOS, Android, Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. Take some time today to expand